Welcome back once again to the workshop update. I think if I can make the claim, these videos, especially these ones here, talking about not only the ideas, the tools, and the use of the tools, I think that is actually one of the benefits of the videos that I produce, is that sometimes they are an observation that you have to make yourself and then pass on to other people so that they can get the benefit of the idea and, well, in this case, the tool, the centering tool. Now, I've just given this section a little bit of a sanding, tickle up to get rid of the mill scale, and I was wondering whether it would be better to leave them with the mill scale on for the etching purposes and then clean them up, or vice versa. I don't think there's a correct answer for that. Either or is probably the correct answer. But I was mention that the very fine line that this diamond tipped scriber can give is very nice. Thank you very much. It is very fine. It is finer than a human hair, so that's a good thing. Hopefully they last, because if they are that good, yeah, I hope they last, put it that way. Then I mentioned about the etched line. Don't know whether I'm going to get a focus, but the etched line on the end of this, which is the optical part of the center punch. And that is also finer than a hair. Let's just say it is at least the thickness of a hair or finer. I aligned this, I'll just put that one over there. I aligned this on the pointing camera in the right direction. I align the scribed mark with the hairline marks on the center punch, on the optical part of the center punch. Get it perfectly aligned. You take it out. You put this part in the actual center punch and give it a bit of a tap, and you've got your mark. That mark is very fine. It's actually really small, and it probably does need to be a bit bigger. So I probably would pay now to get a better punch, one that's not going to be smacked too often. This one I don't want to hit too often because I want to keep it good, because after all it is milled to suit the bore here, but to give it a bit more of a mark. Then I thought, I'll have a bit of a fiddle, and I got out the other optical tool, and strangely enough, it's not strangely enough, I'll put it in and I'll describe it, because I can't. It's got a circle that looks quite big, which if you see there, it's only probably about, if you can see it, probably about 3 mil across. But dead center of that is the tiniest of dots. And when you put this in here, man, does that look good. It's so fine that when I put it on that tiny, tiny little center, like what I used here, that tiny little center pop mark looks huge compared to that tiny little dot on the optical. So it allows you to get even better alignment, or you can check it. I think, now this is just not a criticism, but it's an observation. It would be nice to have had the alignment of the cross and then a gap where it was etched and just have that wee dot. That would have been really nice to align. But anyway, that said, that tiny, tiny little etched mark there, the cross, compared to that tiniest little dot, there's actually even more refinement on that. So, it's just so good. And I don't know whether I can, because I can't see what you might say. Nah, it's a bit of an ask, because it is, trying to focus two different things. But that showed me just how tiny, you can see the tiniest little mark there where I've center punched it. Well, that dot is like, hang on, let's just have a look. Probably 5 or 6 times smaller than that tiny little indent, the actual indent itself. So very accurate. And considering, you know, it wasn't cheap little tool for what it is, but what it's doing and what we're talking about here, yeah, well, it's important. Just had a thought. I wonder if I could drill the rule. If I, you can hear the gears whirring away. If I could, I can align the optical on the etched line of that rule. If I could center mark it and drill it 500, like 100 mil positions, would that actually be a way of not having to etch off of the rule onto the steel? They are marked, just bear with me. This is, I want the accuracy of the rule markings onto the steel. Those are already as accurate as we can use and utilize straight up at the get-go. If I could drill them on the rule, could not then the rule be placed here for the marks to be center punched or etched? The answer is, of course, David, until it's not. But that's actually not as silly. Put it this way, I could do it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Still got the rule. The rules aren't all that expensive. Well, they were free. I've got other ones up here that aren't etched, they're printed. Yeah. Whoops, that's actually a better one. That is an engineer's rule. Not a good one, but it's still an engineer's rule, that if we put that on there, drilled at the, I wonder whether, I've actually seen rules with the holes actually already drilled in them. I wonder whether, if I go down to the engineer's shop, which we've got one here, whether they actually have, it's not that one, whether they have the rules with the holes in them. That's interesting. Well, there's one right there. But I don't really think it's what I'm talking about. It's not right at 100, and it's not at 4 inches, so I don't know what the heck it is. Anyway, that's the sort of thing, wouldn't it be? You get the rule with the holes punched in it, drilled in it. Anyway, that was just an idea, as some of them are, or that's all they will be, an idea. But I was actually quite impressed with this little dot, just how fine it is in the when you actually eyeball it. Okay, that's it. Just that wee bit of an update. Thought I'd let you know that I was quite impressed with it. Don't know yet how accurate I'm going to be able to scribe the marks off of the rule. The idea being, I think, is if I have the, just bear with me, it might be a good idea, it might be bad, but I've got 2 rules. One can act as a packer. I can etch off of the rule onto the steel because it's effectively the same height. I'm theorizing here, people, I'm theorizing. Then I don't get that inaccuracy of when you drop off the rule, you could move your scribe. The other alternative was to try and hold it up like that and come down the mark because it's etched onto the steel, locate it, put my, that's actually quite square, believe it or not. For the price of it, which wasn't that great, not bad. It's as accurate as the engineer's square. I've got the wee engineer square here, and then put that in and mark it. Thing is, stop talking and give it a crack. That is why this sample piece is being used, so that I can prove or disprove my theories, my good ideas. Rubber meeting road, is it not? That actually sounds like it's time for a cup of tea. Might go do that. Rightio, that's it. I'll shoot away, have that cuppa, and I'll get back to you and see just how inaccurate my marking is, or accurate. Rightio, see you in the next one now. Bye.